What if Red Skull joins Ayesha and the Sovereign that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and he joins Team Adam Warlock?
It's like a buddy cop show now, but it's Red Skull and Loki.
It's revealed that NSA connection that gave John Walker, U.S. agent, the shield, it was Red Skull the whole time.
Guys, welcome back to New Rockstars. This is Rogue Theory once again from just the void that we all are stuck in. This is a show where we pitch some wild theories from our, Red Skulls about the Red Skull. Guys, I'm Filup Molina, and joining me here digitally as holograms, of course, we have Erik Voss.
Hello, I'm a well-read Red Skull, wishing you some redness in those cheeks so that there's still blood flowing through your veins.
You know what Eric's been working on in isolation? It's like tongue twisters and
My best
tongue
Tommy
lifting.
impression, and it'll never be good enough.
We also know what's in that cup he's drinking.
Nothing!
Yeah. He never has, he keeps not having anything in that cup, and I
I
don't know why.
people are distracted by me holding this wine in weird ways.
You have the driest tongue, Eric. You need to wet that thing. I'm telling you.
I'm a kitty cat. Meow, meow,
Ew,
meow,
I
meow,
hate
meow.
that. Speaking of all you cool cats and kittens, we also have off-screen producer Zach.
Hey!
Yay.
I'm the Carol Baskin of New Rockstars. And I just want to say I'm happy to sub in for Tommy Bechtold this week. He's off talking to all the world leaders to make sure we get this taken care of so that the Buffalo Bills season is not delayed. So, Bills Nation,
trust him.
strong and proud.
He doesn't know what else is going on and why it's delayed, but it's going to come to an end soon. And Marina Mastros, how are you holding up?
I'm good. I feel good. Yep, I'm inside.
I see now I'm not buying it. I have a feeling you're not
I'm not
inside.
outside. I've never even been outside. I don't even know what
This is a fake
outside
Zoom
is.
background we're looking at. Guys, what we spend our breaks doing is nerdy stuff, like just rewatching the entire MCU. We're in the middle of doing our Infinity Saga rewatch. Actually, we're still early on if you want to join us. But as we're going into it, we're looking into these lingering questions about the MCU, all these interesting characters that are established in the background, and will they come back? Will we see them again? And the one that is obviously maybe one of the biggest lingering questions in the entirety of the MCU is Red Skull. Now, this guy was the villain all the way back in Captain America, the first Avenger, which is Eric's favorite movie because it features his heroes, Nazis.
Armin Zola.
Yeah, you're a big Armin head, yeah. You have Zola for life, or like property of Zola over your crotch. Tattoo.
Zola!
Yeah.
Free Zola.
So he showed up again in Infinity War and Endgame, and then he lost his job just like everyone else, so we all want to know, what is he up to now? This guy needs a job. Guys, pitch me on how Red Skull is going to return to the MCU.
Okay, I got a theory. Red Skull was on Vormir. He was the Stone Keeper for the Soul Stone. And there was an alternate version of the Vormir sequence from Endgame that was released on Disney Plus with Clint and Natasha. And in that deleted sequence, Thanos' forces arrive to basically get to the Soul Stone first. In that moment, it's hilarious. Red Skull just goes, "Peace," and he like disappears. And apparently he has teleportation powers, which he did not have without the power of the Space Stone beforehand. But clearly this guy went somewhere. And you can argue whether or not that deleted scene's canon or not. But that guy went somewhere, so you have to ask, where in the cosmos have we seen in the MCU where his values and his philosophy would be most appreciated? Well, Red Skull is like a crazy, extreme, eugenics-obsessed geneticist. He's like basically the pure blood wizard who believes that everybody should bow down to like the superior blood and race. That sounds a lot like the Sovereign and the Enclave. So the people who created Adam Warlock. They're people who look down on mixed race and people who they believe are crossbreeds, and they believe in like perfecting one's DNA to create the superior being. So you can imagine, what if Red Skull joins Ayesha and the Sovereign that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and he joins Team Adam Warlock, which is basically Space Jesus. His DNA's perfect. And we're going to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as like the weird caretaker to Adam Warlock, who just kind of worships basically a more refined version of what Red Skull was going for in the first Captain America movie.
So we're gonna combine forces there, Red Skull and Adam Warlock. I really like the coloring of that image, by the way, because red and yellow are the most contrasting colors, like the McDonald's logo.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna be so hungry.
Yeah. Sponsored by McDonald's, I wish. Eric, I feel like I need a scene from this where I very clearly hear a Red Skull impression giving me a scene from this movie.
Okay, so imagine an intergalactic courtroom scene. Living Tribunal is the judge overseeing all this, and the debate is kind of like the Scopes monkey trial, right? It's about
evolution.
It's about evolution and genetics in the MCU. After Thanos, who was an Eternal with a deviant gene, wreaked so much havoc, the whole universe is turned against people who are not genetically perfect derivations of like the Celestials, right? So on one side, you have like the Guardians of the Galaxy who are arguing like, hey, it doesn't matter where you came from or what's in your DNA. We're all kind of like, crossbred freaks, and that's okay. Whereas on the other
That's
side,
a Chris Pratt impression.
yeah, on the other side, you have Red Skull who is arguing, what is the perfect direction for all of us to go? Another crossbred freak like the Mad Titan Thanos, who believes that the only way is population control? Or shall we population control by having only the purest of our bloods be that blood that is allowed to breed into our next generation?
He's just a pug.
I feel like
Red
I just saw all the way up into Eric's brain. I feel like.
Yeah.
Exactly. We worked that thing hard. That thing's shriveling rapidly. Eric, you obviously, you earn a Rogie for that.
Woo!
What did it become on your end?
A free fidget spinner. I got a VidCon.
It's got to keep spinning to hold its value.
Okay.
The entire time. Better be a perpetual spinner. But you can place it on anywhere on your body you'd like. And then you're like confused. And then I just want to point out that I really like this idea of Red Skull coming back. I think it's weird if he's able to just leave Vormir whenever he wants, because then he's not really being tortured. But I still like it. But also, I'm still just giving the first one was for your theory. The second one is for your impression that I'm giving you.
The second Rogie became red eye drops.
By the way, black and red, he held it up. Those are Red Skull colors, just saying. They're also Nazi colors, which is
Darth
Eric.
Maul. They're also new Rockstars colors.
Eric, you picked those colors. You made me. I wanted the United Colors of Benetton to be the Rockstars logo. All right, who's next?
I have an idea. So I'm gonna
Let's
lead.
get out of here, guys.
You know what, guys? Has anybody been outside recently? Let's go to the
let's
beach.
do that.
So I'm gonna lead with my Red Skull impression.
Great. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
It's not gonna be as scratchy. But I rewatched Captain America last night, and at the end, they're having that big battle, and everybody remembers this. But he goes, "I have seen the future, and there are no flags," or maybe he says flags.
It might have been flags.
Flags. There are no flags. Oh, and he also, this is a totally different scene, but he also says victory, which I think is
victory?
He says,
Those
The
Germans
German V.
with the W's and the V's.
Yeah. Erik Voss. Yeah.
yeah, Erik Voss.
Yeah.
I took him so seriously, and he's so threatening, except for the one time in the movie he says victory.
Giggle.
But so he...
A little baby.
He said, well, you want victory, you little baby. Now that he's out of a job, right? He's pooping around Vormir. He can't, in my pitch, he can't just teleport off because he couldn't teleport off to begin with. It was the Tesseract that took him there. So he's pooping around, he's stuck. And at the end of Endgame, Loki actually has the Tesseract, right? He stole it. So the first place that Loki is going to go is if Gamora was able to figure out that the Soul Stone is on Vormir, then I think Loki is going to be able to figure that out too. So he pops to Vormir to go get the Soul Stone, and Red Skull is like, hey, before you leave, before you bounce, like, let me pitch you, like, my mission is basically the same as yours. Loki's is like universal domination. They both want all the stones. They're both on a mission to find all the stones. But Red Skull is like, okay, cool, like, I'm on the same page as you. Let me take over Earth. Like, let me do your bidding. Like, I'm gonna be like not a lapdog, but like, what's like a side dish?
Like a vassal?
Yeah,
Or, you know
like,
what I mean? Like,
what a better word,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, or a side dish.
No,
But yeah,
vassal
like
is way
let me
better.
reign over this domain for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's willing to let Loki be the ultimate ruler, but he still has like beef over what happened, so he wants to be in control of Earth. So he hitches a ride with Loki, and the way that he comes back into the MCU is through the Loki series. So we find Red Skull as we're going into maybe the first or second episode, and they poop around the universe together, and they become buddies. Murderous little tykes.
Whittle.
Whittle tykes seeking out Wicktwee.
So I like this. I feel like you got to pitch me on a twist because these are two bad guys teaming up with each other.
Yeah, I mean, they are. And this is like, I mean, the Loki series is like, okay, Loki, is he good, is he bad, right? So 2012 Loki is still bad, but there is still a future, right, where 11 years later or whatever, where he's kind of riding the line between like, is he good, is he bad? So this Loki series, the twist is like Red Skull is there to sit on his shoulder and be his bad like angel, like or his devil. He's pulling him toward the dark side, and the whole series is like, will we watch Loki stay bad and become bad, or will we watch him slowly over the course of like a couple of seasons? Basically, is he gonna be what's the guys in Breaking Bad?
Walter White, yeah, is he gonna break bad?
Is he gonna be a Walter White, or is he gonna be Jesse, who starts out bad and basically becomes a good character?
Breaking good.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is interesting because 2012 Loki, alternate 2012 Loki, does not have the necessarily have the same journey that our Loki has, so he has to have a whole different reason for why he might turn into a good guy eventually.
It's a different timeline, but the potential of each person, I believe, is the same. Like, no matter what timeline you're in, the reality could be different, but deep down, every person has the same potential within them. So he could end up good just for totally different reasons, like you said. But he also could just stay a murderous little psychopath.
Some of that was beautiful. Marina, you're gonna get a rogie.
The rogies that on my side, they become nice, pretty, decorative stones.
Oh, uh-oh.
Okay, Marina, that pile is one rogie.
No!
Yeah, you tried to make it too easy on yourself. Got a whole pile, and you better keep it. If you lose any of those stones, that's a fraction of a rogie you're losing.
Shit. Okay, all right, I gotta find more stuff.
All right, well, you can look around while we move on to Zach's theory.
Okay. So here's what I think, and just to be clear, the Russo brothers did say after Endgame that now that Clint got the Soul Stone, that Red Skull is like released of his duties to guard it, right? So he's a free agent, he can do whatever he wants, but he's still alive in some kind of weird floaty way, right? So here's what I'm thinking. The two things, or the one main thing we still know about Red Skull, right, is he's got to be pissed off at Captain America, right? That's the guy that he was fighting, that he wanted to be partners with, kind of, because he was like, hey, we're these two super soldiered up guys, like, we should be running things, not these puny humans, whatever, but Steve Rogers was too good a dude, so Red Skull got zapped into space. But he still has a beef with Captain America. But of course, Captain America in this timeline is now an old dude, and Red Skull doesn't want to go beat up some old dude, right? Like, I've tried it, it's fun, but it's a fleeting fun, you know?
Yeah, that's why you had to leave Florida.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, technically, everybody you fight in Florida is an old dude. But, so...
Or an alligator.
Yeah, that's right. So he still wants revenge on Captain America, but not the physical person, Steve Rogers, but more the idea of Captain America. So, flash forward to the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, okay? We know this character, U.S. Agent, is going to be involved. We've seen Wyatt Russell is going to be playing him. We saw that in the Super Bowl ad spot. He's got the shield, right? He's got kind of the Cap-esque outfit. Seems like he's playing the captain role. And let's say that, like, after the events of Endgame, even though Cap gave the shield to Falcon, right, Sam, that the government was like, actually, this belongs to us. We have a trademark on the Captain America name, so we'll be taking this shield, Circle R, right? This is ours. And they give it, maybe through the guise of, like, there's this senator in charge of the security committee or whatever, or a top NSA guy, and he hands it over to Wyatt Russell. Who, you know, does the pep rallies and is kind of the face for the government of the kind of Captain America program. But quickly, he's a stooge. He turns bad. He does some bad stuff. He gets some terrible press. Maybe he's, like, you know, carrying out weird assassinations for the government, all kinds of terrible stuff. Boom, it's revealed that NSA connection that gave John Walker, U.S. agent, the shield, it was Red Skull the whole time, right?
Oh,
The whole time. Because we know, right, in the comics, it wasn't as emphasized in his movie appearances, but Red Skull's a master of disguise, right? And so he was the whole time he had a weird plastic face on as some senator or deputy of the interior or whatever, right? Nobody noticed that the dude
Just
didn't have
sweating
feet.
so hard.
Yeah. Nobody noticed.
Does he have a wife and kids?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He committed. He really committed to the role. He's
they
a
also
method
Red Skulls?
actor. Yeah.
Yeah, little Red Skulls.
Baby Red Skulls.
The dog.
Yeah.
So this is all like his plan to discredit the Captain America brand, more so than the person. He wants to, like, wipe it off the face of the earth and have only bad associations with it. How cool would this be for the Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney Plus series if in this series we got Baron Zemo, Bucky, and Red Skull, the villains from all three Captain America movies, in the same series? That's like, even though we won't have Captain America probably very much himself, like there's some nice continuity there.
Yeah.
Zach, I'm giving you a Rogie for the first reveal.
Whoa! It's toilet paper.
Oh my God, it's so valuable on your side. Then I'm giving you, so that the reveal of Wyatt Russell, anytime you peel off a face and there's another less of a face underneath, I like how people would think, like, oh, it's going to be a mask, it's going to have another face, and it just is red visceral, like, underneath. I'm giving you a second Rogie for that connection of all three of the, okay, a lot of toilet paper you show off.
These are all my worldly possessions. This is my retirement now.
They're made of the books behind you. There used to be more. And then I was going to give you a third one because I really like this idea of all three of the villains. I was going to double reward it. And then you pronounce continuity. And you lost it right there.
So do I get it now?
Usually when you ask that, I feel like I have to give you one. You just have something you want to show off. No, because that would also take you to 3. So no, sorry, Erik, you've taken enough from Zach over this time.
That's true. Yeah. I just want some of his toilet paper.
Yeah, really.
You don't live that far from me, Erik. I'm willing to. I can spare a roll, brother.
Just roll it.
All right, let's hear him back in a tweet.
My tweet's simple. Red Skull's racist, so he's canceled.
What, so he doesn't come back?
Oh, he comes back, but he's canceled.
just to get canceled.
Yeah, and it's from
He
the
comes
account of
back
the
on
Living
Twitter.
Tribunal. That's his ruling.
Okay.
He rules via tweet. Rules via tweet.
Bad Boys 3, more like buddy cop series. Loki and Red Skull pooping around the universe as best friends. And then it's a picture of both of them with their thumbs up.
And then the Merriam-Webster account replies to you and asks for a definition on pooping around since you've used it so many times.
On a mission to collect all the Infinity Stones.
That's exactly what pooping around means?
Yeah.
It's like, when you're pooping around, on a mission to collect all the Infinity Stones. Thanos was pooping around.
Yeah.
Thor was pooping around at one point.
Just going from place to place, putting things in your basket, put the things in your basket, are Infinity Stones, and your basket is a gauntlet.
What a specific definition. And Zach, your tweet?
In honor of Tommy Bechtold, Falcon and Winter Soldier, never dull. What's behind that face? It's Red Skull. Hashtag Tommy Bechtold,
Yay.
hashtag Bill's Mafia.
Just go. You're the only person that looks up to Tommy Bechtold.
He's my daddy, which makes you my granddaddy, Philip.
Oh, well, stay away from me because I'm in a risk category. All right, and you have you tend to fight old people
Yeah, that's
too.
right.
All right, guys, before we move on to our next theory that I'm actually really excited to get into, first we got to give a huge thanks to our sponsor for giving us a huge thing to be hugely happy about. I'm talking about your wieners. You two ladies, we're talking Blue Chew. Say it with me now. You got to chew the blue to spit the glue. All right. You guys want to be confident in the bedroom, am I right?
Yes.
Yes, for once in my life, but
Oh,
current events have made me real soft and sad.
Normally current events, whoop, for Erik. But right now, you need some help from modern medicine, who are the real heroes. We've established this. But you don't want to get Viagra or Cialis. Those are expensive, and those are brand names, and you don't need those. Also, they're harder to get. But you know what's great at getting you harder? Blue Chew. It's cheaper, and it's made in the USA. You don't have to spend time waiting at your doctor's office or at the pharmacy. Again, though, I keep saying it's nothing to be ashamed of. Go to your pharmacist, scream at them. I need help with this, quick. She's in the car. They can actually do just like this. We're gonna do a live one here. They can do an online consultation. So Erik, go ahead and show us what you're dealing with.
Okay.
We can just blur this. Great.
No, show it.
Okay, so
Show it!
so if you look like a spinner, a fidget spinner down there, but you can't get it to just stick straight up, you can do this online consultation with them, and then they ship it directly to your door in discreet packaging. I've said it a million times. Put Blue Chew on it. I think it's something to show off and be proud about. But here's the great deal. I'm still waiting for mine to come, and I'll let you know what happens when it gets here. But if you want one, you go to bluechew.com. You get your first order free. They give it to you free. You just got to pay $5 for the shipping. You just got to use our code, which is NEWROCK, NEWROCK. $5 for the shipping. Again, is bluechew.com. So BLUECHEW.com. And promo code NEWROCK. I'll wait while our guests here go ahead and fill out their orders.
New
really?
rock
You all
hard.
owe. You owe the straight women of America a big favor. So,
Marina,
waiting.
you just chew the blue for fun, right? It's like your tobacco.
Well, the ironic part of this is that I have the biggest dick of them all.
That's true.
My belly button's been erect for longer than 24 hours. What should I do?
Call your priest.
No. I made that mistake
Tell
as a
him
kid.
you're in charge now. Clearly, I have powers. You don't. All right, guys. Also, every week we've been playing a game of Rogue Theory with our patrons in the Discord. And this week we selected. There were two great pitches about what the plot of Mandalorian Season 2 is. So we had a great submission from KyloFinn2187 that we really liked, but actually our winner, when you combine audience and judge votes, is Composer95, who composed a really cool plot around, and I want you guys to respond to this theory. It's going to be Mando having to unite the tribes of the recovering Mandalore to defeat Moff Gideon, who we met earlier, and honestly, who's going to have to help him in order to do that, because he can't do it alone. The tribes are all in factions. Of course, Ahsoka Tano. So what do you guys think of that idea for Mandalorian Season 2?
I like that idea. I feel like that's, if you imagine what's the broad arc of the series, it begins with the Mandalorian people scattered. Even the name Mandalorian is kind of disambiguous. You don't know his name. Everyone's kind of anonymous. So going from that to the finale being everyone reunited and having a name and that name meaning something. Yeah, that makes sense on a thematic level for sure.
Also, like, it makes sense for a character arc because the whole first season is him basically not wanting to be a dad and only wanting to take care of himself, and him learning, like, okay, I have to be responsible for, like, another living thing. And the whole Mandalorian culture is like, no, I'm out for myself, like, I'm a bounty hunter, I'm only taking care of myself. And that season would be another arc of, like, going from an individualistic mindset to, like, no, let's essentially unionize and get everybody to work together.
Or even beyond unionize, like family-ize, right? That's something that happens a lot with new parents, especially new single parents, is they have to now make some decisions. How much do I want to do this on my own versus go back to get help from my parents, reconnect to my family, and then beyond that, if you're from the smaller culture you're from, the more you have to decide, actually, do I need to teach this culture and bring this culture into this life? So that, like, sending it back up the family tree in a way is very much what new parents have to deal with.
Yeah.
Speaking as a parent of many children that I have met.
Daddy!
Yeah, exactly. My grandson.
Daddy.
Zach, on screen, Zach.
Daddy!
Daddy.
Okay.
Daddy, we made.
Daddy!
All right, guys. So you can play along too, and you can join now the likes of these great champions. Composer 95 is the most recent. You get a special little designation in the Discord when you've won Discord Rogue Theory. All you got to do is become a patron and hop over there, and we play every single week. Guys, the new theory I want to talk about. They're moving all of the movies that we need to see to far away, and I'm very nervous about it. And it means so many bad things, potentially. But it also means an amazing 2021, potentially. But one of the biggest implications could be the timing of the Black Widow release. They have not announced it. They delayed Black Widow on us. Which, okay, they're delaying everything, but we all know the MCU is just so carefully woven together from the web of Feige, and now suddenly they might have to push this movie late. What if they don't want to push it? What if they don't also want to push the Disney Plus shows like Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff? Now suddenly their design of their timeline is going to get knocked out of whack. We have previously talked about what's going to happen in the Black Widow post-credit scene. We have previously said, oh, it leads perfectly into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I want you to scrap all that. Forget it. It's not going to happen, Marina. Instead, I want to know if they push Black Widow out past Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then what post-credit scene are they going to have to suddenly shoot last minute, throw in there and make it a perfect setup for Black Widow to connect to something else that's coming in the MCU, not related to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Let's hear your theories.
You yelled at me, so I'm gonna start. By yelled, I mean just said my name at all. So we're watching Black Widow from our Disney Plus accounts at home in 2021. Everything is back to normal, but Disney Plus is just releasing movies directly onto their platform now, which will never happen, but in our dreams it can. And we watched the whole movie. We're staying in our seats, and
At our home. we don't get up and dump popcorn on the ground.
Nope. Yeah. And we watch full 30 minutes of credits, and then we see back to the end of Endgame. Natasha Romanoff wakes up on Vormir, Soul Stone in hand, right? And she goes, what the hell? I'm supposed to be dead. And then that perfect impression, just go with me there.
That wasn't too bad, actually, if you think about it. It does kind of have a little bit of it needs a little rasp.
Yeah, a little rasp, yeah. And she sits up, she's in the water, and she hears a voice from behind her, and it goes, Natasha Romanoff, and she turns around, and it's Doctor Strange, okay, in an Iron Man suit.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he goes, we have work to do. So basically, and then cuts to black. So this is basically a tie-in from the Black Widow movie to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And that movie is basically going to be pooping around It's not.
We say no more. We know the exact plot of that movie.
It's not. But it is Doctor Strange going through different universes and different realities to realities where the characters that have died in a different version, he can save them or bring them back and bring them and reassemble them to fight a new villain who could be Doctor Doom.
Ooh.
Is my pick. That's my preference. And so it's not a redo because I think that would be like cheap. Like, they're just undoing everything. They're not undoing anything. These are totally separate realities. And the entire movie is getting to see these different realities and different characters that we lost in a totally new adventure.
Say Quicksilver.
Quicksilver!
Yeah! Quicksilver comes back too! Hell yes! Yes! That's awesome, collecting all our dead characters and just bringing them back. Very cool. Why is he in the Iron Man suit?
Because he can do whatever the fuck
Because
he
Tony's
wants
not
now.
using it anymore?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's such a great... Imagine if you already have the powers that Doctor Strange has, but his weakness is his body, so he might as well... Like, he was just like... They buried him, and he was like, excuse me, ooh, can I just borrow? Ooh, I'm just gonna squeak this off you, and he just, like, takes it away. And no one's mad at him.
Yeah, I like his trading card of the characters, like strengths, magic, all this stuff. Brilliant or weakness, body.
It is, though.
General body.
that like-
Benedict.
Yeah, his hands are all fucked up.
There's two things that would be huge here, though. One, now the Black Widow needs to be added to Multiverse of Madness if she wasn't already. But I guess there's time to reshoot that. But also, I'm gonna throw out, and this is where you get a inadvertent rogie here, Marina. There you go. And this is because you made it so Natasha, post-death, can wield an Infinity Stone in her hand, which means she came back different.
Yeah.
And that's a whole thing. We don't know what that would mean, how she came back. But so Black Widow plus powers. I mean, look what she could do without powers.
Maybe her power now is like she can bring people back from the dead. Who knows? Also, the rogie turned into a piggy bank.
Oh, sweet. Is there stuff inside of it?
It's really heavy, yeah. Oh no!
You'd knock your camera down.
Yeah, I know, because it's so much fucking money in here, yo.
Careful, we're gonna rob you.
Yeah.
All right, I love it. Who's next?
Okay, I've got one here. Black Widow ends. We're assuming maybe Red Guardian dies, right? It seems like because David Harbour has to die, right? That's in his contracts that
his role.
His characters have to die. But boom, the movie ends. It's sad. Black Widow is triumphant, but Red Guardian is dead. Maybe some other characters die as well. We go back to the prison where Red Guardian was broken out of in Russia, Siberia, wherever. And it's also the prison that Stranger Things David Harbour will be at as well. Right?
Yeah.
There's only one Russian prison.
Yeah.
And
The Gulag.
Yeah, it's the Gulag. Yeah, everyone knows the Gulag. Yeah. And maybe there's like a warden we saw from earlier, maybe some prisoners we recognize. They're milling about, and we see like some case files. You know, and the top one is Red Guardian, and then the one right underneath it just says Peter Rasputin. Open it up. Boom. It's Colossus. Okay, and then maybe the file underneath that. Weapon X, but it's written in like the Cyrillic alphabet or whatever, so it just looks like googly goo.
Weapon
Yeah,
X.
that's it. But we could tell the X. We could tell the X part. And then open that up. Boom. This is our entree. The Weapon X program, mutant kind, right? Maybe there's some hints of Wolverine, Sabretooth, Deadpool. Somehow this connects. And I like this because like it makes sense. Colossus is Russian, so like we're spending a lot of time in Russia in Black Widow, but also this is totally unexpected. This is not something that's on the Phase 4 lineup, anything to do with mutants or Colossus or even Deadpool. Mm-hmm. So it would be like a fun, unexpected post-credits thing for Black Widow.
Yeah, and And sticking well, and it doesn't require many reshoots or anything, right? Because it's just it's not about Black Widow in that. And I think you could get away with introducing Colossus that way, in the way that they did Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, where they're not mutants in the MCU, they're like experiments. And so we know that Russia had done its own experiment. Yeah. If they tried to create their own Iron Man or Steel Man or something, you know, but literally he can turn to that with his skin. There was a character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that was pretty similar to that. So maybe that's a good way to bring it in. I like it because you brought in a mutant.
Hey!
Yeah, and it makes sense. I could do it. There you go. There's a Rogie.
Just really
Is that the same one? How can I tell the
faces.
difference?
They're all the same. I actually only have one roll of toilet paper. This Rogie has to last a long time, Philip.
Somewhere your fiance is like, Zach, are you done yet?
No, hold it. Hold it.
All right, Eric, what do you got?
Okay, so throughout the trailer footage for Black Widow, one thing I pointed out, and everyone keeps calling me crazy, is Natasha's holding these glowing red vials. And they seem completely like literal red herrings. And people are like, oh, it could be anything. And I keep saying they look a lot like Pym particles that we see in Avengers Endgame that are basically the method, the flux capacitors of time travel in the MCU, right? And they especially look like Pym particles in the Funko Pop toy figurine, and the toys never lie. They don't look, if they aren't Pym particles, what are they then? Because they don't look like anything else. So I think we're going to see this movie and you're not going to see them show up at all. People are going to be like, aha, it's going to be like that extra Hulk footage that they shot for Infinity War. It wasn't in the movie at all. It was just something they threw in there just to distract us and send us down these theory rabbit holes until the post-credits scene. So we're going to find out what exactly happened at the end of Civil War. So Steve Rogers broke a lot of these people out of the Raft prison, right? Well, in tow with Steve Rogers is Falcon and Natasha Romanoff. Also, people who got out of that prison were Scott Lang and Clint Barton, but for whatever reason, they ended up in like government lockdown after these events. So you're going to see how Natasha was intentionally trying to get Scott Lang out of there, but Scott Lang had these extra Pym particles that he gave to her and says, I don't want the government to get their hands on these. You hold on to them. And in the post-credits scene, throughout all the events of Black Widow, Natasha has to leave them behind, but they're left behind wherever she was staying. Wormhole opens. It is Loki and Time Variance Authority agent Chronomonitor, played by Owen Wilson. They pick up these Pym particles, and then Loki's like, it's a good thing we got these before anyone else did. And Owen Wilson goes, yeah, because Kang was going to get here real quick. Let's go take these back to HQ. Wow. And then they take them back to HQ.
Wow.
And Kang's on his way, and Loki coming out on Disney Plus very soon. Hopefully soon.
No Kang impression?
Yeah, who's gonna play Kang? Oh, Richard Grant, right? Richard Grant's gonna be in Loki, and he's gonna play Kang the Conqueror, and he shows up afterwards, and he kind of also has a British accent. Right? He was in Logan, and he was in Rise of Skywalker, and he kind of talks like this, but he doesn't have a nose. It's normal. Where was my Pym particles?
Wow!
Wow.
Eric, you get a self-pimping Rogie.
Oh, I do?
Putting yourself out there.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What'd you drop? Did you drop it?
No,
Did you drop it?
It's a Valentine.
Aww.
Oh, read
Remember
it.
February, guys?
Never happened. All right, let's hear him back in a tweet.
It's a ghost emoji and a lemon, and then a girl going like this. Okay, and then a robot plus a doctor emoji, and then a unicorn. Because that's the magic of those two universes coming together, and then the entire representation of the Multiverse of Madness is a unicorn. Because it's just magic.
Man, how
It's
long have
all
you been in
emoji.
isolation?
So long. So
you gotta
long.
conserve your words. You just gotta speak in emojis now.
The tweet is entirely in emoji code, and anybody who correctly interprets it gets all these pretty rogies.
You give them a rogie. One rogie. Stop trying to pass it as more than one. Great. All right.
Okay. Black Widow, who's gonna defeat her? I don't know, but here's this guy, Peter. She done beat all her bosses to make way for Colossus. Put on that tea kettle, cause here comes a Russian man made of metal. Hashtag Tommy Bechtel.
Wow, that's a
Not
lot.
bad. Not bad. Yeah, I'm glad
like
you didn't
3
rhyme
rhymes.
with a Russian man is gonna beat her. So, like, don't go there, God. Great. Eric, you go.
Okay, so my tweet is a parody of that Gal Gadot Imagine video. I know it was like 2 weeks ago, whatever. So it starts with Paul Rudd as Scott Lang saying, "Imagine there's no future," and then hands over Pym particles to Scarlett Johansson, who says, "It's easy if you try," and then hands it off to Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and he says, "No future or past," and then hands it off to Owen Wilson, who says, "Wow, some Pym particles, put them in my ass." And then Richard Grant as Kang pops in there, he's like, "Imagine," and he gets cut off.
Yeah.
Wait, why did he need to go in his ass?
Because it has to rhyme with past.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Argue with that.
That's it. That's the whole thing. All right, Eric, I appreciate all the effort, but the rogie of this round is going to go to Zach for the tweets. There you go. I appreciated all the rhymes that happened this time. A lot of those emojis rhymed. People didn't pick up on that, but they did. All right, guys, it's not done yet. It's time for Rogue Questions.
Yay!
It's the 30th anniversary of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Who has the best pitch for which turtle they are and why?
Donatello, because I'm a scientist, but instead of using science, it's just me rearranging all of the ingredients in my kitchen and trying to make it into a real meal.
Classic Donatello. Yeah. With the bow staff.
Just stirring a pot from 6 feet away.
I'd like to think of myself as Michelangelo, because I am a party dude. But I think probably more accurately, I'm Raphael, and I'm just an introvert, you know?
You take no two. Yeah.
I'm Shredder because I keep having to shred the final square of toilet paper I have into smaller and smaller pieces.
Eric, I'll make a delivery, buddy. You don't have
Hurry! Hurry, I can't get off this toilet.
Eric, where are you filming from?
My bathroom was the largest room in our apartment. For me to set this up.
It already had all that camera equipment, too.
Yeah.
So we talk about all things that are relevant to pop culture on this show and on this channel, and we can't go forward without acknowledging our Tiger King, Lord and Savior. The biggest issue a lot of people are having with the show Tiger King is that they find that none of the characters are redeemable at all, or even very likable. So give me, in your best impression of a Tiger King character, a defense of why that character is actually your hero that you're rooting for.
Oh, I'll go first. Only I'm not a smoker. Otherwise, just picture me with like 10,000 cigarettes in my finger. And I'm Rick Deckham, the like reality TV producer in the cowboy hat. It's just like, my life was forever changed by Joe Exotic. Oh, I was never the same after that fire. I connected with him as an off-screen producer. I connect with my fellow off-screen producer, Rick Deckham.
And his defense is that it's Joe Exotic's fault.
It's all your fault, Philip. This is all you.
Filup Exotic.
Okay, I'm John Finlay, who's his husband, or his ex-husband, but not Travis. Pretend that I'm bald.
Shirtless.
Pretend that shirtless.
Take out your fake teeth.
And that I've done a shitload of meth. Okay, ready?
Easy.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Oh, God.
What? I didn't even know. That's that one moment.
That's
that
legitimately one of his
moment.
last moments on the show.
When he's just like, what?
Which, to be fair, is a decent argument of why we should support him, is that he had no idea what the fuck was going on at any point.
I didn't even know.
He didn't even know he was gay.
I know!
Yeah.
Or that he wasn't.
I think this show is redeemable if you just choose that one former GW Zoo employee was redeemable.
Oh, yeah, she was.
Seth.
You can save it with just like 2 months of therapy. Nah, cut it off. Wait, there's a new prosthetic that allows you to work with it for 2 weeks later. Nah, I'm good. What? You don't even have to cut it off? It was just a dream? Nah, still cut it off.
And also, it's the most Star Wars of all the characters.
No! Actually, I'm okay with this.
Not a great defense for most of those people. So, Marina, at least yours is the most accurate. I did it because of the meth. Blame it on the meth.
It turned into a chapstick.
Yeah, not chapsticks. All right, guys. I didn't keep count. So who won? What are your totals?
I have 3.
I believe I have 4.
I have 3.
Oh!
Off-screen
Yay!
producer Zach is our winner of this episode, and I don't know what your wish is. So why don't you tell us?
Well, I really loved in a recent video Eric and editor John did a very quick, fun thing where they turned Eric into Exotic Joe for just like a single frame. And I would love it if editor John, if you could make all of us, like give us the dumb mustache and the weird mullet.
All right, well, we're all going to go marry each other now. And just like the end of every episode of Rogue Theory, that's it. Thank you so much to our guests. Zach Huddleston, our winner this week.
Yay!
Thank you. Marina Mastros, we missed you. It's nice to see that you're getting on fine.
I'm alive.
Yay!
Yeah, and no one thought it would happen. And Eric, what do we got going on?
Well, what we got going on is if I become governor of Oklahoma, I'll make polyamory mandatory.
Mandatory.
And Carol Baskin wants to make monogamy to dead husbands under septic tanks the only way you can be in a marriage.
And what's our next MCU rewatch coming out?
Thor.
Love me some Thor.
Thor's haircut comes the closest to a Joe Exotic, I feel like.
Yeah.
Thor's the big hunk of man, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Don't forget to subscribe to Rogue Theory as a podcast feed, and go ahead and stay tuned to his YouTube channel, and also our footage of just us saying terrible things about people we hate that we want murdered, and then you'll use it against us in court. Follow Twitter, New Rockstars, and me at Filup Molina on Instagram and Twitter.
Bye.
Bye.